Can you smell it? Do you smell it? It is all in the air. Ooh, is it in the air? There are a few ways that you can tell it's football season, NFL season. One way is the weather. Our little Yorkie, Chewy, she knows every day when my first video is uploading here to YouTube, we're going to go take a walk while it uploads. Every day. She never lets me forget. As soon as I put my laptop on the living room table around lunchtime, 12 o'clock, she knows it's time to go walk. Now, during the summer, our walks tend to be shorter because it's so hot outside. It's miserable. But this time of year when the NFL is starting, the weather's getting more comfortable. Our walks are longer. Another way you can tell it's NFL season, the level of excitement. All of my friends are more excited this time of year. The NFL gives them the perfect excuse to get away from their wives or girlfriends for a little while. Gives them an excuse to gamble. Gives them a reason to put off the honeydews or get out of things that they don't want to do. Honey, my second cousin's best friend's daughter is getting married next Sunday. We're invited. Let's go. Can't make it. The Saints are playing. What the hell's wrong with that broad anyway? Who in the fuck gets married on a Sunday during NFL season? Both of those are subtle signs that the NFL is back. But there's one sign, there's one thing, that if you see it, you can bet your mortgage that the NFL is here. I'm talking about the sign of the promotion of mythical racism. I told you guys 6 weeks ago this was coming. I told you guys the closer we got to the NFL season beginning, the more the focus of the mainstream media would be on mythical racism. Well, KC, how do you do it? How can you predict the future? I can't do that. While you guys are sleeping in on Sunday morning, I'm attending services at Woke United Methodist. I grab my woke hat along with my woke Bible, participate in some woke espionage, and I sit in the balcony listening to the sermons of Father Jalen Rose. Towards the beginning of August, Father Jalen told his flock, we need to increase our efforts on ending mythical racism. All summer we have promoted the pride. Our asses are sore. We all need a break from the bongo. We have depleted the supply of Preparation H. Brothers and sisters, we must shift our focus this fall to bringing awareness to mythical racism. It started with Father Jalen claiming Mount Rushmore was racist. Then Kel Gundy was racist for reading text messages on a player's iPad. The shitfucks then claimed the Little League World Series was racist because players were emulating another black player in a sign of respect. The VMAs were an unmitigated disaster of mythical racism. Then, of course, we had BYU, which will go down as one of the crown jewels. BYU, it was used to keep the country divided. The media knew exactly what they were doing with this story. They knew this story was bullshit. And by the way, Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman from USA Today, I am still waiting for you to admit that you were wrong. BYU concluded their investigation yesterday, came to the same conclusion us normal people came to 3 fucking weeks ago. Mythical racism. But if you thought the shitfucks could not sink any lower than using little leaguers to promote their narrative, you thought wrong. The passing of Queen Elizabeth incited woke boners across Twitter. Past few days, all we have heard about is colonialism. Colonialism. That's just a fancy word for mythical racism. And now, we have another person coming forward to tell the world, I am a victim. Yesterday, Frances Tiafoe was eliminated from the U.S. Open. Now, if the media would just allow him to be who he is, an American, Frances Tiafoe, he could be a huge draw for tennis. He's got an inspiring story. He's a likable dude. His father immigrated to this country and was a custodian at a tennis facility. Going to work with his father is where Frances Tiafoe picked up the game of tennis. His parents fled a civil war in Sierra Leone to come to America to give their kids a chance. For 11 years, his father not only worked at this tennis facility, they all lived there. It's an inspiring story of someone coming from nothing and making it in this country. We used to call that the American dream. Like I said, Frances Tiafoe is a likable dude. Seems to be very humble. Listen to him after his loss yesterday in the U.S. Open to Carlos Garcia. Watch for yourself. This dude didn't get where he is today with a victim mentality. It would be impossible. He had a survivor mentality. It seems like anytime a black athlete makes it in a predominantly white sport, the mainstream media goes out of their way to make them a victim. Sadly, many of these athletes bite right into that shit sandwich. I'm looking at you, Bubba Wallace, Lewis Hamilton. Tiger Woods, he's been one of the few that refuse to allow it to happen. Unfortunately, Frances Tiafoe, he was starving for a fresh woke turd. He took the bait. Headline at USA Today: Frances Tiafoe U.S. Open run may be turning point for men's tennis. I am sure you don't need to read this article to know the point. Frances Tiafoe represents diversity, equity, and inclusion in a whitewashed sport. Headline at Business Insider: Frances Tiafoe said lack of diversity in tennis made him feel like an outsider. Now he is using his platform to advocate for racial equality on and off the court. Is it too much to ask to let America get behind another American because they're likable and relatable, because they're successful? Is that too much to fucking ask? Why does everything have to be about race? You just heard in that interview, the crowd was clearly supportive of Frances Tiafoe. Now, is that sympathy support, pity support? Oh, we have to support this man. He's one of the few black men in an all-white sport. That must be so triggering for him. Oh, the PTSD, the trauma, the nightmares. Oh. Or were they supporting him because he's an American? Tennis is a star-driven sport, but fans, they're more likely to get behind stars from their own country. Now, I partially agree with USA Today. Frances Tiafoe, he could be a turning point for tennis, but not because of his race. He could be a turning point in bringing people back to the game. It is going to be incredibly difficult for him to do that when he is promoting a victim mentality. Like I said before, when it comes to sports, Americans like to get behind survivors, not victims. How in the fuck is Frances Tiafoe going to bring people back to tennis when he is alienating the majority of the audience by promoting racial propaganda? In an interview with CNN, Frances Tiafoe said, I definitely feel that not everybody wants to see me succeed. Ultimately, they don't want us in power. I truly believe that's a thing. Who is they? They don't want us in power? Who the fuck is they? Is he talking about white people? How many white people woke up this morning thinking, we have got to find a way to stop Frances Tiafoe. He's taking over our sport. I'm going to take a wild guess and say, none. I started digging a little bit deeper. I started doing some research on Frances Tiafoe. When I saw the headline in Business Insider, they made it seem like he was just now starting to push mythical racism. Turns out, he's been pushing the bullshit for years. Check out this video from May 2020. Roll the film.
Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing well during this crazy time. I and I felt the need to reach out and express our feelings for what is and for what has been going on here in America.
We wanted to do a small gesture to spread awareness about the unjust deaths of many African Americans here in this country. You know, this is definitely bigger than tennis, and we all need to use our platforms to come together regardless of class, gender, race, ethnicity, or any other categories.
Today, we put our rackets down and our hands up.
Doesn't seem to me like white people are wanting you to put the tennis racket down. You did it yourself. Racket down, don't shoot. Racket down, don't shoot. These athletes, they just don't get it. One, they don't understand that they're being used by the mainstream media to promote a narrative steeped in bullshit. But two, they would receive a hell of a lot more support if they didn't alienate 75% of the country. Someone please explain to me this lack of diversity in tennis. We have a lot of guys that bet tennis at the sports book, so I'm constantly having to check the results. You can make the case tennis is more diverse than just about any other sport. Men and women representing different countries from all over the world. But KC, most of them are white. I mean, yeah, that's true. 67% of professional tennis players are white. But why is that? Could it be most black athletes don't fucking play tennis? When you're driving through inner city neighborhoods, are you more likely to drive by a tennis court or a basketball court? Here's another thing I don't understand. How come the mainstream media only complains about lack of diversity when it comes to sports dominated by white men? I never hear complaints about lack of diversity in the NBA or the NFL. The only time we hear that complaint in the NFL is with head coaches. I never hear the media complain that damn near 100% of cornerbacks are black. The only time the mainstream media complains about a lack of diversity in sports is with Major League Baseball, the NHL, NASCAR, and now tennis. The mainstream media is pushing this Frances Tiafoe bullshit like he is going to revolutionize the sport of tennis. He is proving black men can play tennis too. This is great! Now more black men will play tennis and be accepted. Yeah, I fucking doubt more black men play tennis because of Frances Tiafoe. They said the same thing about Tiger Woods in golf. They said the same thing about Bubba Wallace in NASCAR. When there's a white superstar in the NBA, the rarity when that happens, but when there's a white superstar in the NBA, does that mean we're going to see more white stars in basketball? No. Larry Bird was arguably the biggest star in the league in the 80s. How many white superstar level players has there been since? Fuck, I don't know. John Stockton? That's about the only one I can think of. These people in the media are obsessed with race. They're obsessed with it. Then they turn around and project their obsession onto us normal people like we're obsessed with race. But anyway, let me know what you think. The mainstream media claims Frances Tiafoe will revolutionize tennis while he's pretending to be a victim and an outsider. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys on Monday.